Hello everyone, and welcome back to the 7 Wonders of Genshin series. Today, we'll be taking a look at the fallen nation of Remuria, the new area of Fontaine released in version 4.6. Of course, this video will only cover the wonders of Remuria, so if you want to see other wonders of Fontaine, check out my previous videos in the series. Also, this video does contain spoilers for the quests listed on screen now, so if you haven't done those, you have been warned. With that said, let's jump right in. Beneath the lovely town of Petrichor on the outskirts of Fontaine, you can find an ancient castle frozen in time. Known as the Fated Castle, this location houses many secrets and bits of lore relating to Remuria. In fact, this castle was part of Remuria's empire, and even houses a gateway to the main part of Remuria. Before we head into Remuria itself though, I want to discuss some of the lore found within this castle. I've discussed Remuria's lore in the past, but the information here fills in a lot of the missing pieces that we had before. Previously, we knew of 2 of Remuria's Harmosts, Boethius and Cassidor, who we actually meet here. However, we knew that there were 2 more Harmosts, and we finally discovered here that their names were Eugerdia and Aurelius. We also get to learn more about other cities that existed during Remuria's time. One of these cities was known as Legdenesis, and its people followed the Hydro-Archon Egeria. They believed that their authority to rule came from an ancient sword bestowed upon them by the Mother of Many Springs. Based on this title, this person could be Egeria herself, given her similar title of Mistress of Many Waters. However, the Remurians thought of the way they obtained their authority as ridiculous, and they had some words about it. Naturally, any rational citizen knows that strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. Supreme executive power derives from melody and harmony, not some farcical aquatic ceremony. Later on, the Remurians would repress these other cities and show them the violence inherent in the system. Now then, we also get more information about Irenaeus and her homeland of Remuria. I've discussed her story in the past, and these new details help expand her lore quite a bit. In the past, Remuria was ruled by someone named Caesareum. When Remuria began to expand their empire, he decided to follow them. Later on, Irenaeus, who was noted to not be the heir of Caesareum, took over as the leader of Remuria. We also learned that her true name wasn't Irenaeus, but actually Ericanth. The name Irenaeus simply came about through careless errors in records and stories passed down over the years. Within these notes, we also get hints about Phobos, otherwise known as Remus's Grand Symphony. This Grand Symphony was intended to free humanity from Fortuna, or fate, and was intended to bring peace and prosperity to Remuria and beyond. Of course, that didn't end up happening, but I'll explain that more later on in this video. Moving down into Remuria though, the next location I want to discuss is the Initium Iani. This is a barrier that protects the entrance to Remuria's capital city, Capitolium. Additionally, it's also where the Dragon King Scylla was sealed by Boethius during Remuria's downfall. Now, Scylla is not the Hydra sovereign, but he is exceptionally powerful. Back during Remuria's time, Scylla saw the Remurians as arrogant and foolish due to their desire to break free of fate. Despite this, he still worked with Remus, as his ideas did pique his interest. For a while, it was believed that Scylla betrayed Remus when he led an attack against Remuria. He brought an army of barbarians and bishops known as the Dragonborn and began to attack Remuria. Upon reaching the Initium Iani, Scylla would be trapped by Boethius, leaving him sealed in place for thousands of years. Seeing his kingdom falling, Remus would realize his wrongdoings and attempt to save his empire. Boethius would see this as a betrayal, so he stole the golden ichor from Remuria and used it to further seal Scylla. Remuria then sank beneath the waves, with the god king Remus being killed. However, this isn't exactly how the story happened. It turns out that Scylla's attack was actually part of a plan between Remus and Scylla. At this time, Remus had realized that Phobos was not working as intended, and decided that it had to be destroyed. He wanted to liberate the Remurians from their stone bodies and allow them to return to their true forms. As such, he asked Scylla to attack Remuria in order to distract Boethius so that Remus could destroy the Grand Symphony. The plan was for Remus to play his final symphony, the Requiem, once Scylla entered Capitolium during the attack. Scylla would then control the power of the Requiem and use it to destroy Phobos once and for all. Unfortunately, Phobos found out about this plan and used Boethius as its pawn to stop it. When Scylla came to attack Remuria, he would be trapped by Boethius, meaning there was no one who could control the power of the Requiem. After Scylla was sealed, Remus still played the Requiem as a last resort, which led to his death. The Requiem would then destroy the physical kingdom only, causing it to sink beneath the waves. For thousands of years, the people of Remuria would remain trapped. Fortunately, Scylla would be freed with the help of the Traveler, Paimon, and Cassiodor, who was possessing a cat named Ossia at this time. Together, they would head through the Initium Iani and into Capitolium, ready to make Remus's final wish come true. Before we get back into the main story though, there are a few places in the first part of Remuria that are worth talking about. Within a cavern in the northwestern section of Remuria, you can find a giant set of bells. Since Remuria was a kingdom that heavily valued music, such a sight isn't too surprising. However, not much is known about the purpose of these bells, with what we know coming from the viewpoint where only the bell tolls. If the ancient bell's tolling could pierce the barrier of the ocean, lost souls may yet find their homeward road. Based on this quote, the bells could be tied to the power of the symphony. They could have been used to help lost souls return to Remuria, as this place was actually a prosperous royal port before Remuria fell. Alternatively, it could be suggesting the opposite, with the bells helping to return the freed souls of the Remurians back to the high seas of Fontaine. Either way, we do find a score after solving the puzzle here, so there's definitely some connection to the symphony. Speaking of this puzzle, it actually involves us helping lost souls find their homeward road. If you guide the 3 Seelies in the area back to their courts, you can obtain a luxurious chest. Moving over to the southern side of Remuria, you can find a mysterious area known as Caesareum Palace. Just like the previous location, a score can be obtained here after completing a challenge. This challenge involves us talking to a golem so that we can fight against a horde of bishops. After first clearing this challenge, you can travel further into the palace where the score and some chests can be collected. Within this cavern, you can also find a stone tablet that gives us some information relating to Scylla and the seal that bound him. It turns out that the chains used to seal the Dragon King were stored here for a time. Additionally, we learn that these chains were made from the blood and bones of Harmos Eugerdia, so she must have been incredibly strong. Now, this doesn't mean she died, as many Remurians were transferred into the golems, including her 2 fellow Harmosts, Boethius and Cassiodor. As such, her mortal body would have been used, while she would remain alive in an undying body of stone. Now, based on the challenge here in the presence of an arena, it seems that this area was used for training purposes. More specifically, it was used to train against bishops in case of an attack from Scylla and the Dragonborn. Getting back into the story of the Canticles of Harmony World Quest series, let's head into Remuria's capital city, Capitolium. Upon first entering this area, you will immediately notice that the aqueducts that snake through the city are in disrepair. In order to progress in the story, we must use the power of the symphony to repair them. By locating 2 devices and solving their puzzles, we can repair the broken aqueducts. The first of these puzzles is found in a place known as Collegium Phonascorum. Upon activating the device, a flock of bird phantasms will appear in the area. Using our music box, we can help these birds return to their proper positions in front of the mural. After this, the birds would begin heading outside, and we would follow them. They would then repair part of the aqueducts, leaving only 1 puzzle to go. After completing that puzzle, which follows the same formula, the aqueducts will be fully repaired. With that done, we can finally release the golden ichor and allow it to flow through the aqueducts once again. Speaking of these aqueducts, they are also known as the Alta Semita, and they allowed the golden ichor to flow across Remuria. This ichor would allow everyone within Remuria to be connected to each other and the Grand Symphony, which helped the people know what to do in their everyday lives. Additionally, these aqueducts act as a giant musical instrument. After repairing the aqueducts and allowing the ichor to flow through once again, the musical part of this design would be reactivated as well. If you were to swim through one of the instrument's strings, it would play music. Together with Scylla, we would swim through these strings and play a song, allowing music to fill this ancient kingdom once more. The music we played allowed the grand gates of Domus Aurea to finally open up. After a long journey under the sea, we could finally head inside for the final confrontation of this World Quest series. Of course, the final wonder for today's video is the magnificent Domus Aurea. Before it became what it is today, it was actually Remus's ship, which became known as the Fortuna. Eventually though, Remus took his ship and used it to create the Domus Aurea, a giant instrument that would sound the Grand Symphony across Remuria. As I said earlier, it is also the final stop in our quest through this ancient kingdom. Here, we would confront Boethius for the final time, where it is revealed that the Boethius we've been seeing this whole time isn't really himself. Before Remuria's downfall, Phobos devoured Boethius and used him as a puppet for thousands of years. This revelation confirmed more than ever that Phobos had to be destroyed. Thanks to Cassiodor's help, we were able to stop Phobos and reach the top level of the Domus Aurea. Once here, we are finally able to finish the plan set in motion by Remus and Scylla all those years ago. We would play Scylla's part of the Requiem, allowing us to finally destroy Phobos once and for all. The Remurian souls who were trapped in the golems would finally be free, and Cassiodor was finally allowed to pass on. Boethius would be freed of his corruption as well, allowing all Remurians to return to the high seas. And those are 7 of the wonders found within Remuria. If you haven't seen my other 7 Wonders videos that go over Fontaine and East Fontaine, I recommend you check those out as well. I also recommend my videos on Mount Jose Hunter, Golden Troop, Song of Days Past, and Egeria and Focalor. I would love to hear what other wonders throughout Teyvat you'd like me to hear go over in this series in the comments below as well. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Sources and further readings are also in the description if you want to check them out. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you all in the next video.